and welcome to the 5th event of the Support SA Talent Ace Cycles Virtual Racing Series. Today is the first event where we have separate start times for all the categories. So men's A, men's B, and then a ladies only category. Just want to wish everyone all the best of luck. I hope you did a bit of a route recon. There's a hard leg snapper, as they call it, that we do 4 times. So yeah, best of luck to everyone and give it your all.
Welcome everyone to the next event in the Support SA Talent Ace Cycles Virtual Road Cycling Series. I'm Phil Liggett and the event is presented by Doolhof Wines and Trade Route Active. Now, just before we get going, I'd personally like to thank you all for the donations which have been streaming into the foundation. We've already had more than 40,000 Rand donated since the start of the series. This is fantastic, and we are on the way to supporting more South African riders onto the world stage, and that is, after all, when this lockdown is finally over, what this is all about. This week we have over 180 South African riders on the start line, so as usual I'm going to hand you over to your very own Miles van Musschenbroek to get today's Beyond Sound live event on the road.
Hello everyone, yes, thank you Phil. We are once again live. We are in event number 5 now in the Support SA Talent Ace Cycles Virtual Racing Series. Today the guys will be taking on a course around Innsbruck. That was the 2018 UCI World Champs course. It is a lap of 8.8 kilometers with each lap having 72 meters of vertical elevation, and the riders will be taking on 4 laps in their own race today. The Support SA Talent Ace Cycles Road Racing Series. Once again, we are lucky to have Jamie Taylor with us again today. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you, Miles. Glad to be back.
Jamie, going into today's event, we can see quite a big change in the overall leader classification. Firstly, before we head over to this week's GC, what do you think of today's course? I mean, there is one climb in the middle.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of little rolling bumps, which, considering the field that's lined up today, I don't think is going to have too much impact on the actual riders. The biggest impact's going to be that climb. It's about a 1-minute effort, and obviously going over it 4 times, you're definitely going to start feeling the sting. There's actually a nickname. I saw some of the guys kicking a nickname around for this hill. I'll try and pick it up in the Facebook feed and let you know what the slang name is that's been given to this route.
This was the 2018 World Champs course. Do you remember who won in 2018, the Elite Men race?
I stopped keeping track as soon as Peter Sagan lost his jersey.
If anyone out there knows who is in fact who in fact won the World Champs in 2018, let us know. I think I have a very good idea of who it is. But yeah, let's head over to this week's general classification. JP Lloyd takes over first position from Office Guru Racing. Jamie, how do you feel about that? That's your rider.
Yeah, nice to see him up there. He puts a lot of effort in week out. So yeah, nice to see the commitments paying off.
HB Kruger from ProTouch Continental is in second place, and the South African road cycling champion Ryan Gibbons from NTT Pro Cycling is now in third place. Kent Main, ProTouch Continental, in fourth place, and the junior cyclist, who is now the best ranked junior cyclist overall, Dylan Geary. Jamie, you know quite a bit about Dylan, don't you?
No, Dylan not in particular. I know the Geary family, big track background. His older brother actually rode for me for a season, so I know the booty, but I haven't spent much time with Dylan. Are we live on Facebook, Mark? Miles. I can see Mark Pritzen's mom there asking that she'd like to watch the race.
We should be. We should be live. Guys, can you hear us? Can you see us? If you can't, we're also on YouTube. We are streaming to a YouTube link.
What we're doing tonight, guys, just to give you a little bit of feedback, is obviously having a look at which social media platforms are the most popular that people would prefer to watch the actual racing on. It also gives us a little bit of stats that we can feed back to more prominent South African, how can you say, television channels, and obviously look further down the line at an opportunity to put this series out live. Thank you, Darby. Just got feedback that we are live.
Brilliant. Thank you, Darby.
Any news on my trainers, David?
Leave them in the comment section there.
Anyone else waiting for trainers from David?
Jamie, in the B category in the men's, we have Ruan Nadia who's still on top there. We've seen him on top there since event 1 or 2, if I'm not mistaken. Stephen Home in second place, and Nick Dickens still in third place. So that series, not much changing there. But yeah, Ruan Nadia on top form. It looks like he should maybe be getting bumped up to the A category soon. But yeah, he's showing his dominance in the B category. If we move on to the ladies category, we see Lauren Coleman. She's been on top there for a couple of weeks. And yeah, so that's a very cool thing to see Lauren Coleman showing her dominance in the ladies A category. So she's still on top form. Jo van der Winkel from Cycle Nation Sandton City in second place, and the junior cyclist Kelsey van Schoor now being bumped up to third spot. Sarah Hill, the mountain biker from Galileo Risk Infinity. So that's looking really good. So she's also still on the scoreboard there with 33 points.
Couple of changes, girls, and a bit of an apology from myself and Miles for probably 2 out of the 3 weeks managing to call the wrong race winner. So it is a little bit difficult floating in and out of the different categories and trying to figure out who's up the road and who isn't. We now have what we call Zwift Support SA Talent Scouts that are out at their homes and will be feeding back to us. Azzy Brits will be looking after the ladies racing category and will obviously keep us up to date so that when we do roll back to a live feed, we make sure we pick up the correct riders.
We are 5 minutes to go before the actual start of the race, so let's carry on with just looking at seeing who's ahead here in the ladies B cat. Amanda Acom just ahead of Michelle Andrews. So that category becoming a bit more competitive this week, Jamie. Looks quite. Yeah. It's very cool to see.
Getting a little bit bunched up there, and it's always nice when you've got less than 10 points splitting first, second, and third, because one decent result can completely change that leaderboard.
Moving on to the junior, who is dominating there. Dylan Geary ahead of Jonathan Bauer and Jason. How do you say that, Jamie?
I think it's Brunkies.
Jason Brunkies. So that also becoming a very competitive category. We saw Dylan Geary up there in last week's race, actually finishing with the elite. So
Kinetic Pro Cycling, massive talent comes out of there on the track, and it's nice to see them filtering it onto the road. Obviously, I think they are Western Cape based, so we don't get to see much of them, but it's nice to have them bumping bars with Dylan Geary from Cyclebox.
Brilliant. So let's head over to the start line of today's race. Everyone's warming up on the start line and ready to go. 4 minutes before the actual start of today's race, you can see there in the top right-hand corner, we have managed to, since last week, curate our very own Support SA Talent A Cycles Virtual Racing Series event on the Zwift platform, which is quite an amazing step in the right direction. You look at everyone warming up there. We are currently watching Kent main screen, but yeah, everyone looking good to go.
Yeah, there's. I see we got a couple of Germans in there again. It seems like they enjoy bumping bars. I see some of the feedback. The guys are saying they're all on the same bike this evening. So I think some of the chops and changes you can make to the bikes has been mitigated. I think you can obviously play with the wheel setting, but it's a stock standard piece of steel underneath them, and yeah. The investment they made on the bicycle that they're sitting on at the moment is not really going to have any impact in the virtual world, so we might as well put everybody on something the same. It also just makes the playing field a little bit, probably a little bit fairer, because there is a slight advantage to the types of bikes that you can get if you've spent quite a bit of time, obviously, and you've accumulated those sweat drops on Zwift.
Another very cool thing that's happening this week, we have managed to separate the start group. So what that means is the A batch is going to go off at 6 o'clock. At 1 minute past 6, the men's B batch will go. Will head off, and at 2 minutes past 6, the ladies' race will start. So that will help the people scouting for each category. That will make it a little bit easier for them to follow the race and give us some feedback. So that's also quite exciting. Once again, Today's event or tonight's event in the series brought to you by Trade Route Active, Karen Beef and Dualhoff Wines. That promo code still available if you want to get your hands on some wine. We are on level 3 lockdown, which means they can deliver. You can get up to 50% discount on wine. So the promo code is ProTouch, and when you go onto their website, dualhoff.com, you'll be able to get your discount. So look out for that. That's a nice little incentive with the promo code. So thank you to our sponsors once again, helping us out there, managing to get this event going. 2 minutes to go, Jamie. Who do you see there that might be today's potential winner? Very punchy course once again.
There's a lot of big names, and there definitely is every week when they line up. But we've been seeing the same probably 10 faces disappear up the road to kind of contest the racing, and then pockets of guys scattered all over the show. So I think today's race allows for it to stay together a lot longer. If you had to take this and put it into a traditional racing sense, this would be your elite under 23 and junior bunch, and then the B category would be your vets. If you had to start a veterans race 1 minute behind the elites and under 23s in South Africa, you'd have those vets probably passing the elites and under 23s in the first 5 minutes of the race. So even though it does make it slightly easier for commentating, it also requires these riders to keep this bunch rolling on at a decent pace so that you don't have the two bunches coming together. So I see there's a little bit of a drop in the amount of riders that are lining up. I think that has an impact on obviously the amount of structured riding the guys can do now on the road, so possibly that making a difference. Do we have our SA champ lining up today, Miles? I
was actually just about to ask you that.
I don't see his name in the crowd.
He did say he would be joining us again, but it doesn't look like he's on the start line. He does have that distinctive
the blue NTT kit.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it. I see Stephen van Heerden there in a very amateur kit. It's something my guy rides with when he rides Zwift. So Stephen obviously hasn't spent enough time on Zwift to qualify for something cool.
I see the Cape Town
10 seconds to go. These guys,
10 seconds to go. These guys are winding up.
We're going to be sitting at 500-600 watts already at most of those guys, and as this virtual race line disappears, there we go. They're out of the blocks.
There we go. They're 540 watts straight off the start line. As you can see there, trying to change the view. We're trying to just head over to Ken's screen. Don't know why it's not allowing me to follow anyone. Sorry about that.
As you can see, Miles got all dressed up for nothing. So he's our decoy, which sits on the start line.
There we go. So this is actually the B cat.
So there's your B group starting to line up.
Let's try and do that again. Try to find these guys in the...
See, we got Nick Thompson there, Sergio Da Costa. There we go.
I think there was just a bit of a lag in the system there.
I know we had at your HQ where you broadcasting from, Miles. I know there was an internet issue earlier, so at least that got sorted out, and one less headache to have to worry about.
Yes, it's been quite a hectic day trying to get this all sorted out.
See, Ryan Terry's up into the first 40 riders. I think that's the first time he's done that since he raced the Virtual Tour Suisse. So maybe he read a WhatsApp from you earlier.
Hey, so I think he's maybe adopted a few tactics there.
Yeah, because obviously you're seeing in the team competition, obviously you've got Kent and Harbier kind of boxing JP alone. So it's a bit of an unfair bar fight. So let's see if some of JP's teammates can add some value tonight.
Gareth Kirsch in there as well. Also a name that we've known for many years on the local South African cycling scene. Who else do we see there? But it looks like it's nicely bunched up for now. Today is going to be a very, very fast race. Only about 30 kilometers on the cards. The guys are taking on 4 laps of the World Champs course in 2018. It was Innsbruck. So
Have we got anybody feeding back there as to who the winner was? I've got a WhatsApp from someone, but it doesn't count unless it...
Can I take a guess?
You can take a guess.
I'm going with Philippe Gilbert. Is that correct?
That's incorrect.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It was actually a very
Valverde?
Valverde.
Ah,
I
there
was
we
gonna
go.
Say, a very controversial win
There we
after
go.
somebody having served a doping suspension and then coming back at 38 years old. There's still hope for you, Miles.
Hey, there we go. I mean, there's...
You've got another
I mean-
10 plus years before you get to world champion.
I think just that experience of Valverde, I mean, no one can take that away from him.
No.
No one can take that away. Stu Fitzpatrick in there as well. Nice to see him getting involved on the start line most weeks.
Have we got somebody going solo there? Or
Someone going off the front there.
is that Ken sending his brother off the front again?
I'm not sure why there's a little triangle above that guy's head, but maybe let's
Just
scroll up here a little bit.
Click on JP Lloyd. He's a little bit closer to that front arrow, and then we can see if there's anybody up the road ahead of them.
HP Kruger in there. My money's on HP today, Jamie. I'm not going to lie. I think he's been showing some potential.
Suit him as this kind of route.
And I think he's very, very motivated today because he's been up there most races. He's finished on the podium a few times, and I think he wants to win a race.
Yeah, when was his last win? I think he was the first South African in stage 2 or 3 of the Amateur Tour de Suisse, the virtual race. So that could have possibly been his last local result.
Yaz Dylan Geary, the junior that's currently winning obviously the junior category. Is this a group going off the front?
No, that's a group coming off the back.
Off the back, eh? Let's see. Let's go up towards the front.
I'm just trying to have a look at. We did get a breakdown today of.
In the A batch, there's 93 riders, so we're just bouncing between each one. Brendan van Eerden is also there. He is mostly known for mountain biking. He's a very talented rider coming through the ranks. I always see him riding as a solo rider.
Sorry, Miles. The leg snapper. That sounds like a strange fish. Yeah, so the leg snapper is the I don't know if it's a slang term or if it's the term that the riders have given this climb. But to give you an idea, today, 4 laps, total distance of 35.2 kilometers. We'll try to be as close to that as possible. I know a couple of the weeks it's been slightly out. You're at about 5Ks, the climb comes with an average gradient of about 8%, and that climb is about 450 meters. So I'd say that would be the only climb worth considering as an opportunity to springboard into something bigger. You repeat that climb 4 times, and it works out at roughly about 4 kilometers from the finish on the last lap. What we are going to try and do this week, just to mix it up a little bit, is we're going to watch the bunch that you see on your screen, which is our A group, go up the climb. We're then going to roll back to the B group, watch them go up the climb, and obviously see where any attacks take place. And then thirdly, we'll then roll back to the ladies and watch the ladies go up the climb. So we're going to try and give everybody as much airtime as we can, as well as it allows myself and Miles to be a little bit closer as to what is going on in the race.
I see David Murray commenting quite a lot. He's been come to known as the cockroach. He's obviously not riding again. I wonder, he must be a bit. I think he's looking for those trainers.
He sent me a picture of what I think is a lot of trainers that arrived. So about 4 or 5 guesses as to who the world champion is. And then he's saying that triangle is the Zwift power monitoring triangle. So Zwift will break the guy. Basically, he's cheating. Okay, so I don't think that's somebody from our race. I think it's somebody coming off the back of somebody else's race. So, see, we got some. I'm allowed to call him a toppie, Martin van Wyk up there.
Yeah, sure.
Hanging on to his age, he won't go backwards. I see we got the South African crit champion, Brad Gavera's back up there. I think he won but didn't win race 1. He wasn't registered for the series yet. We're seeing some little gaps start to open up.
Jamie, if I'm looking at the power to weight ratios that these guys are pushing, I mean, if you look at all those orange little markers there, 8.9 watts per kilo. I mean, we're watching Jonathan Bauer's screen here from Kinetic, and he's pushing 500 watts, 400 watts. His heart rate sitting at 196 beats per minute. That is...
It's actually a hell of a lot quicker than we estimated what they go up this climb at. So, to give you an idea, that allows a lot more people to hang on than they usually would. So guys that are big sprinters or guys that aren't looking to ride at a decent tempo up a climb, this is kind of a sprint, little short punchy sprint effort, and you're over and you're back on. So you can see Martin van Wyk, Ryan Terry, a couple of guys coming on over the top.
Seems to be a few gaps forming. This is a little group forming off the front, but I think on the downhill everything should come back together. But
can we roll back to the B category, Miles?
Sure we can.
Maybe look for Ruan.
We just got to look for a rider in there. Let's try search a rider. But I don't think Ruan is riding today. I tried to search him a bit earlier, but let's see if he's up there. Maybe you're just late to be on the start line. I'm sure he'll be there. He's not going to miss out on
no,
his points.
I think he's if he's not, he's there we go.
There we go.
They're
So
actually on the climb.
So this is the B category going up the climb. This is Ruan O'Deer's screen. He's currently winning the B category. Let's see how they're stretching out. Oh, look at that. Look at that. 1s and 2s coming up the climb.
So we got Lyle Poulter in there. I think he is the gentleman, when I was in the cradle on Saturday, came past me on a mountain bike, and I was convinced I was actually chasing an e-bike. So yeah, you can understand why he's there. The Mouth, Vanaroo, sitting in 2nd or 3rd place there.
Is Vanna right up there?
Yeah.
Did he enter B batch?
Is it Vanna? Well, there's a Roo.
There's a Roo. I don't think it's Vanna, but if you look at the ladies coming through, yeah, they were 1 kilometer from the climb once these guys had hit the actual climb. So let's go find some of the ladies who are coming up the climb for the first time. Carla Oberholzer, I'm sure I saw her name there. Is this them? No, those are still the men's B. We're looking for the ladies. The ladies were 1 kilometer away from the climb not too long ago.
Can you search for Lauren on your...
We can. Lauren Coleman, she's our series leader. Let's quickly find her before they on the climb. Lauren Coleman. Zilda Brits helping us try and follow the ladies' race. Thank you to her.
There we go.
So we're watching Lauren Coleman's screen. Yo, that's quite a cool kit, Jamie. Pink, eh?
That is a cool kit. Nick White would love that. He likes a pink kit, pink water bottles, you name it.
So Lauren Coleman there.
Roll
just
forward there to Kelsey Miles.
Kelsey, is she ahead? Yeah,
there
she's ahead, slightly ahead. So she's putting an attack on the climb.
So there you got probably the most talented, one of the talented climbers, Catherine. Obviously, a very light girl, used to going uphills hell of a fast. So it looks like she...
looks like they're forming a bit of a breakaway.
Yeah, was pressing it over the top, followed by Kelsey. Who else we got in
Lauren
there?
Coleman. I saw Joe van der Winkel up there as well.
Yeah, I think the first time over here, being short and a punchier effort, you should see a lot of these girls stay together. If they're not together over the top, I think they will come back together.
Jamie, where is JP staying at the moment? Where is he living at?
He's currently in Stellenbosch.
Okay. Because something I thought about during this week actually was I noticed that all the riders, in the men's A category, that are in the top 5 on the general classification, they're all actually currently staying at sea level.
Yes.
So
I was told the same thing.
Yeah. So that's something I picked up. And
I wrote it off to an excuse made by all the Joburg riders, to be honest. So you've obviously got a little bit more patience getting fed stories.
Yeah, just something I noticed, but there must be an advantage.
There we go. See, in the sprint out on the road, we had an Office Guru rider there, taking it from Martin van Wyk from Harbier, another Office Guru rider. Going down to, I see we got another mountain biker creeping his way in this week, Keegan Bontekoning.
So nice to see him on the line. Nice, powerful rider.
Yep.
But is he part of our series?
I saw his name pop up on the WhatsApp group today, so I'd presume if he is there, he would have gone and done the entry already. JP Lloyd's partner in crime, so I know the two of them have done some good stuff on the mountain bike scene together.
Back with the guys in the front, this is HB Kruger.
Still a big group, huh?
Yeah, surprisingly so. But they've been over the climb once. I think after the third time or even the fourth time I don't think there's going to be so many people being able to hold on. But still a nice group. These guys are still, I think, in idle mode. If you look at Harbier's heart rate there, I mean, he's only sitting at 160 beats per minute. So I'm guessing he can go up very close to 200. So if we look at that, he's still in third gear. He's got a fourth gear, fifth gear, even sixth gear.
This is still a very big group, considering how it changed quite quickly after 12 Ks last week. I think you're going to have a lot more guys holding on this week. That effort up that climb was probably 30 seconds. So, you've got a couple little bits and pieces of bumps along the way, a 30-second effort, and you can hang on the way around. So, I know you went with Harbier.
I'm just thinking about that decision
sure.
now.
No, you can't change it now. I just haven't rolled my dice yet.
Hey, Harbier, don't disappoint me.
This probably suits a guy
like Peter Avenant.
Yeah, either Pete or even a Brad Gaveris. I mean, he'll hold on something like this, and he's got a decent surge at the end. So something like that might suit him. Even Martin van Wyk, you take Martin up a little short punchy climb like that, and he's going to make your life a bit of a misery.
I remember racing against Martin actually in a crit race. I think it was about 2 years ago. It was those helivac crits there in the south, and yes, he was dangerous on a flat route. So I think he can pack out a big amount of power. But you say this group's looking big, but I think it's actually whistled down since the beginning. Out of the 93 riders that started in this group, I think, how many are there?
There's
Probably
definitely a lot less, probably half.
Yeah.
It's also quite deceiving. If you start scrolling down, you'll see how many guys are actually there.
Richie Baxter leaving a comment there for us. Jamie, he says he's going to leave the racing to the big boys. No, Richie, come join us. Come do a BCAT race here, or even come and give us some insight. Come talk rubbish here with me and Jamie.
I see we've still feedback from the ladies. We've still got Kelsey van Schoor, who's got about a 6 to 10 second lead. So we've got all our scouts. Thanks, Nick, for the feedback. David Maria saying you get about a 10% benefit by riding at sea level.
Is that a David statistic? Or
it's open for everybody's input. Let's have a listen and have a look on the live chat. I mean, do you think there's honestly that big an advantage over a 40-minute effort at sea level? I definitely think there is an advantage. Whether all 5 of those riders that are currently in the top 10 come from sea level, whether that just happens to be a coincidence or if that is the case.
But surely if they've been there for quite a long time, obviously it kind of levels itself out.
You'd imagine so. Obviously, the longer time you spend at sea level, it kind of nullifies what you're trying to do. I know for us, if we're doing tours, those kind of things, we generally try to travel up to sea level as late as possible so that you maximize the advantage you get from it.
Down to sea level.
Sorry, down to sea level.
Now, what's happening in the BCAT?
I see one problem that we're going to start having is probably the opportunity for these riders also to catch the back markers of the B category.
Oh yes, because it's a lap.
See, there's a 14-minute gap, which is quite substantial, but being a lapped race will come up on us again quite quickly. So that the back of the B category is currently sitting at about 14 minutes ahead, or 14 minutes up the road.
Andres Negrini, I just see his name up there. So he's pulled himself into the top 10 on the general classification this week. So he is being nice and consistent throughout the series, and he's slowly but surely going up the ranks there to be able to compete for that top 10 position. But are we close to the climb again?
We are. It should be at about what should be now, because it was 8 odd a lap, and we're another 5 k's into a lap.
Just around that corner.
Getting feedback from Azzy on the feed. We've got Catherine Collane has got a little bit of a lead on Lauren Coleman, followed by Joe van der Winkel.
Sure, the pedigree of riders in that group is actually.
It looks like Kelsey and Catherine are quite close together. So it's it's turning out to be a decent race.
Coming towards the climb, I think it's going to start very soon. So this is the men's. I mean, if you look at the watts that Hobby is pushing there, 340, anything between 350 and 400 watts. If you compare that to his heart rates, he's still got a bit of.
Yeah, he's got a bit of gas in the tank.
Gas.
Can open up. Somebody pushing their luck off the front there, see if they can get anyone to follow.
Josh van
A
Wyk
little bit of a switch back here, and it drops down. And then we should be heading towards the bottom of the climb.
Josh van Wyk and Martin van Wyk racing against each other. The youngster versus the old man.
I think Tanya, obviously, having spent a lot of time looking after that whole household of Martin, Keegan and Josh, I think they race for anything. I think you've got to race to get seconds in that house if you want to get fed.
And here's the start of the climb. Look at those watts. Just go straight up.
You can have a look at all the power-ups that the guys are chucking around. So there's your featherweights. So
you see a lot of them starting to use them.
Yeah, everyone starting to push just over 10 watts a kilo.
There's an attack coming from someone. Who is that? It's actually, that's Harbia.
That's
You're
Harbia.
busy watching his screens, putting in a massive effort. 800 watts, heart rate going up to
It's actually
191.
a very short, punchy climb. It comes up on you quite quickly, and then it's over.
That was about 30 seconds, eh?
No, I don't even think that, Miles. I think
Shucks.
let's roll back to the bees. They can't be very far behind, but
Let's head over to Ron Nadir. But
I think those
Harbia
guys
getting a gap.
will all come back together on the downhill. It's there's Harbia. As long as you're over 60 kilometers an hour and you start to freewheel, your avatar will jump into the
air attack.
aero attack. I'm going to give you a little bit of a breather.
Looking at the series leader screen again, Ruan Nordia in the B category. They are just about to head onto the climb. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to get the gap here. But like you say, is it maybe a waste of effort to try and go on the climb?
I think if you can take some people with you, and you can create a little bit of a roll between guys. But yeah, I think to go and cook it on the climb to create a bit of a gap. There's unfortunately the climb's not long enough for you to find 10-15 seconds over the top, and if you do, the momentum of this group is going to bring you back on the downhill more than likely anyway. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting race to call for the end.
See there, Nick Dickens is there from A Cycles. He's third currently in the overall series. You can see all these featherweights, so that's a big advantage going up the climb. You're going to see a lot of those featherweights disappearing because people want to try and stay in the group. The featherweight.
Do you get a
power
limited?
up.
Do you get X amount per race, or?
Yeah, so it's every time you go over a KOM or a. Or
So
like
this
a
is
sprint.
our series leader in the BCAT, stretching his legs, seeing
Putting
who
in a
can go with
massive
him.
effort up the climb. But you can see there, so that little feather disappeared off the top of his head, which means he's using his featherweight, and he is now slightly lighter in terms of his weight that he's put into the Zwift system for 20 seconds. I think it's 20 seconds. How long is it? Or 30 seconds. It helps him to be a little bit lighter, so obviously the power to weight ratio goes up relative to how much power he's pushing.
I see the next, the girls are on the climb, but Ruan Nordia, to give you an idea, he's Dylan Geary, who's probably about 7-8 seconds ahead of him, will be the next guy in the A group that he comes across.
Just trying to get over to the ladies.
Yeah, I think if you either pull up Kelsey or Catherine, it sounds like from the live feedback that Kelsey's she was almost on the climb, and then she's got about a 7-second lead. Let's have a look. It's actually out to 9 seconds now on Catherine on the climb.
So this is Catherine's screen. Is this before the climb? Just before they're over.
Just before, I
Just
think.
before the climb.
Yeah.
So let's see what damage Catherine can do on the
Let's
climb.
go on to Kelsey there, Miles, just ahead of you, just so we can see where she is in relation to where the start of the climb is.
There we go.
Okay, so yeah, we have Kelsey on the climb itself. So yeah, touching 9 watts a kilo, 14
Jeez, that's
kilometers
massive.
into the race, and
So this is our ladies leader, right?
This is the ladies'
This is
leader.
the ladies leader. She is getting chased by
This is the reason we missed her last week, is she obviously goes out early and then holds it for a long time, and by the time we'd finished with the A and B group and we rolled back, she was already up the road and we missed it. So I think this week's strategy to have some eyes and ears outside of the studio is probably the right way to do things.
Yeah, so thank you to everyone helping us. There's all the Brits helping us, giving us some feedback there. But you can see Kelsey's so quick. She's actually passing a few of the guys who started in the BCAT. So
Yeah.
it's
See, she's caught and
Can
passed
get
Franco
confused.
Alexander from one of the New Power Ninjas.
the new power ninjas.
Getting checked, as they call it, is the statement.
Well,
I
not
don't
yet.
think-
He's on the wheel there.
I don't think getting checked is quite the name. Some of these girls would give most of the elites a good run for their money. So well done for Kelsey for opening a substantial gap.
Let's see if we can find Catherine. She was down the list here. You see her there anywhere?
No.
They'll have a little blue. So they are 15. It's only 15 seconds, Jamie. It's not that much.
Okay. Start of the climb, it was, I think, just over 10, so it definitely opened up over the climb.
So Kelsey in time trial mode. She's still a junior. It's actually pretty amazing to see her sticking it to the elite ladies here.
We were on about it earlier. Is there any benefit to a junior riding junior gears on Zwift? Absolutely zero, because it's obviously dependent on the amount of power you can put out on the pedals versus the actual gear you're riding. Is that correct?
I haven't used junior gears for a long time. I can't say
You'd
I've tried it.
imagine that it wouldn't make a difference, because it comes down to the amount of power that you're pushing out through your crank, is not necessarily the size of the gear that you're riding.
That makes sense. Should we head over back to the men's race?
Yeah, let's pop up. Almost 20 k's done, so
Sure.
we're over halfway.
Wow, this race is going quickly today.
Yeah.
Already 23 minutes in. The last few races we've seen the riders go anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. I'm guessing, it actually might be the same. 35 minutes, 40 minutes for these guys.
Can we scroll down that list and just try to get an idea of how big this group is, Miles, before the...
Let's head over to the top camera. So,
Sorry, we're getting
Yeah.
feedback there. Your statement's incorrect. Kelsey's actually a first year under 23.
oh wow, jeez.
I think
thank
we
you for the
also
correction.
have forgotten that we've lost most of the racing this year. So, people that we only spoke of as juniors
Last year.
have actually grown up. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Kelsey. So you were a junior, now you moved up. So, but I mean, it's still a youngster coming through the ranks.
Correct. Yeah.
First year under 23 to try and compete against the elite riders who have been doing this for many years. Okay, number one, your experience is obviously not as much as the older riders, but just to have that brutal power where you can power on and time trial away from the elites. I mean, that's quite incredible.
See, we got Ryan Terry hovering around in the first 10. Obviously adding some assistance to JP.
Let's see who else is in there. So this is the front of the race. Sure, Stuart Lowe. Is that Stuart? S. Lowe? I don't think it. I'm
Not
sure
sure.
about Stuart, but it is S. Lowe. He's a South African rider. I haven't actually recognized his name part of the series. It might be. Maybe he's just been hanging low there. But we see there JP Lloyd. So he's currently leading the series. Right up there. I mean, this is the cream of the crop right here. I mean, the race winners. See Kent Main still in there. I haven't seen his name tonight, but he's still in there.
His brother's in there.
Is his brother also in there?
Yeah, his brother's also in there. Jonathan Bauer,
Nice little group we got going here.
Kenny Negrini.
See a few international names here as well. So yes, these guys must be thinking.
I actually rode Zwift last night, and there's a name there, Insect Science. It looks like it might be Bonte's team, and I rode with the guy for a while, and I wondered where the name came up. Obviously, some of these guys have got their little Zwift teams, and they've put their own little names together. But I was quite interested to think what company is is called insect science. So maybe somebody on the live feed can give us some feedback if need be.
So every Monday evening, Kent Main is hosting a warm-up ride. So if you are racing in the series, you must follow him, and you can do a pre-course kind of recce of the race that's happening that week. So, for example, the guys did a pre-race ride this Monday evening. So I think that's quite nice to be able to see the routes, feel it out. Well.
Gives you like a little bit of a window shop. You know, you can, if you're that way inclined, you can set markers. You know what's coming, when it's coming. It's always a lot easier to have ridden a profile than having, looked it on in a piece of paper.
Yeah, so get involved there. It's also like kind of a mass participation ride before the actual race. So to build that and get a community of supporters riding along with the guys is actually quite nice. So I think that is at it's at 6 o'clock every Monday. But just look out on the Facebook page for the details on the pre-race ride, which happens on a Monday.
Can we roll back to the girls' miles just to get an idea? I believe the gap is opening quite nicely. So if you had to pick up Kelsey's feed,
let's search for her here on the Zwift companion app.
See, the boys are getting to nearly 23 kilometers, so they'll be approaching a climb for the third time shortly. Which, the group looks a lot bigger in the actual standings of positions than it does the amount of bicycles, but probably the guys are a little bit bunched up. Yeah, so here we have Kelsey. She's almost 19 kilometers in.
She's getting a bit tangled up here.
See, she's got Charisse a little bit further down with Charisse and Catherine.
Is that Charisse Willett?
It read as Charisse Willett, yeah.
Okay.
See, we got Lindsay. Is that an Ian Lindsay? Somebody who lives near me.
Does Kelsey, is she able to take advantage of this group that's in the B category? Do you know?
I don't know if because they're in different categories, if you do get some form of slip by sitting, if she sits and hides in between these guys. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if anybody if
anyone watching knows the answer to that. Does Kelsey get the advantage of sitting in this B group because she is part of the C group? So we got
gaps out to 30 plus seconds to Catherine from Kelsey. So
wow, so it is growing.
It is growing, and then it looks like Catherine's on her own there, or has an American with her. Lauren Cannon?
No, is it Elle Cannon? I don't think it's Lauren. I think we're speaking about Lauren Coleman, but Elle Cannon. I'm sure she's on our leaderboard in the ladies' cat. But so it's kind of all quite stretched out at the moment. We have Kelsey up front, Catherine chasing hard, but the gap is growing, and we have Elle Cannon there, just 10 seconds behind Catherine. So 3 ladies, one behind each other with a small gap. But yeah, Kelsey putting down the hammer, and that gap is just growing out.
This is obviously the reason why we missed her last week. She goes,
well, the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, she goes out early, and she's gone up the road where the rest of the girls seem to be riding together. Where Kelsey seems to head off on her own.
There we go. There's Kelsey in this group of B cat riders. So the guys in the B cat, she's caught up with the B cats, but it doesn't look like she's hanging around for them. She's on the front pulling this group.
Yeah, I think these guys will be blessed to have her there. They're more likely that she's going to be adding advantage to them than the other way around. I see we've got our series assistant organizer, Emmanuel from A Cycles. He's sitting at about 1 minute 43 off the pace.
He's done a great job in kind of spearheading this kind of virtual racing movement. I mean, he's also involved in the Tuesday morning team time trials, which is also turning out to be quite an awesome event itself. So yeah, more people riding on this platform, which is quite cool to see. So Kelsey now in a very big group of B cat riders here.
Yeah, see there's a couple of the Road Rasher personalities in there as well. Here we're on to the
So this is the B men now, Jamie.
B man at the kind of the head of the race. Here's with our series leader, Ruan Nadir.
Looks
Again,
like he's putting in some big attacks up this climb.
Group's quite tight considering. I mean, this is their third time up the climb, so they've got one more time up the climb, and then they'll be heading towards the finish. So, if somebody wants to do something, and you are somebody who's not capable of waiting for the finish, you've got one more lap to try something. But I do think it doesn't favour a climber or a strong rider to go away. It's just not long enough.
But this is look how stretched out that group is. You can just see how kind of the guys are like holding their breath up the climb there to try and hold the wheel. But I think once the wheel's gone on the downhill, it is quite fast, but you got to very much chase back. Yeah. So this is Ruan Nadir. I think he says he's in 10th place overall in the BCAT. I don't see any South Africans ahead of him. So, well, actually, yeah, there's Stephen Stephen Ho.
There you can see them popping up.
There you can see them popping up. So Ruan Nadir actually taking a bit of strain up that climb. A few of his competitors riding away from him.
I see young Geary from the A category is also in there. He's definitely suffering this week.
He's leading the junior category. So you can see the BCATs, the front of the BCAT now catching the ACAT riders.
Can we roll forward to the ACAT, Miles?
We can.
Just to give you an update again on the ladies' race. So 22 kilometres done. Kelsey has now increased that lead by 50 seconds to
wow,
Catherine.
So she's putting down some watts there.
Yeah,
James.
she's definitely bar a mechanical issue. I'd like to she get my nod for today. Are you allowed to do that with half the race gone, Miles?
No, I think you also okay, call your rider now.
I see we've got a couple of names here that haven't popped up. So obviously been hiding in and out of the groups. But yeah, I think this is the select group that'll finish this race together. So I think it comes down. It probably suits, to be totally honest, a guy like either a JP or Brad Gavaris. I don't think it's the kind of finish that's going to allow for anybody that's not got a decent sprint in them. Martin also a problem there for the guys that are around him, but would be nice to see. How can I be the politest way to put this, Martin? One of the older personalities in the South African cycling scene give these youngsters a hiding at the finish. So
that'll be
Martin.
quite good to see. Track cyclist, he has the speed from the track.
I see from the team competition, I see we've only got is Kent up there.
I have seen Kent's name. Yeah.
So Kent and Harbier up there in the team competition. I see they are surrounded by the Office Guru boys. So it looks like JP might be getting a little bit more help than he usually does. So well done, boys, for lining up today.
I did see Charisse Willett's name there again. So this is the A batch catching the back end of the C batch.
Okay.
So
Now when
he's
it
getting a bit
becomes
confusing.
entertaining because you can't obviously see who is where on the road.
I actually saw Charisse on the side of the road, so she might have had some technical issues there. So the men went straight past her. She was unclipped on the side of the road, so maybe she had a bit of technical problems today. So a person we don't see, Jamie, which we mentioned at the beginning, was Ryan Gibbons. He's not here today.
No,
next week he'll join
definitely
us
not
again.
here. Otherwise, his name would have popped up by now.
Probably back on the proper training program ahead of the World Tour cycling season that's going to kick off. I think I read an article today in 50 days. So they're counting down.
Is that as close as it is? 50 days.
Yeah. So day by day they're counting it down, and it's within a month and a half. The guys will be back on the road racing for the UCI points.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think we'll see it slowly start opening up more and more. I know the Asian circuit is back up and running. I think they finished the tour of Vietnam this last week. So you're going to see more and more of those races popping up.
We see a Dylan Geary supporter telling us that he lost internet connection at the beginning and didn't make the start. So thank you for that input. That is one of the downfalls to this virtual racing, is that a lot of things have to be in place for everything to work. So that's unfortunate for him. I'm sure he would have been right up there with these guys at the front.
Nice to see Mom coming to the rescue there, just to set the tone. It's not a leg problem. It's
A leg or lung problem. Yeah.
Thanks,
Some
Crystal.
technical issues there. Guys, it's your time to call it. We actually approaching the finish line very soon.
What was the total distance for today, Miles?
8 point. Should we head over to the front start there just to see what the distance was?
Hang on, I'm actually...
It was 8 point something times 4.
It must be there and thereabouts, 30 odd.
So this is the small group that's going to be sprinting it out for
Yeah,
today's finish.
This is definitely the select group that the winner's going to come from.
Hey, it'll be great to see.
Your
if,
money, still Harbia?
Yeah, I can't change it now. But guys,
No.
to everyone watching, you have 20 seconds to get your bets in. Who's your money on to win today's event number 5 in the Ace Cycle Support SA Talent Virtual Racing Series? Get your bets in right now. The person who gets it right, we'll give them a free bottle of wine, Dualhof wine, because our event is sponsored by Dualhof wine and Trade Route Active, as well as Karen Beef. So a bottle of wine to the person.
35.2.
35.2. Okay,
As
so
close to it.
there's still a bit of distance, yeah? We've still got some.
Yeah, we've still... at about, 32... Sorry, no, you should be coming close to that climb again for the last time very shortly.
So one more time up the climb.
one
I'm sure
more
we're going
time
to be
up the
seeing a few massive attacks going up there. We don't see many people having power-ups, which means no one can take advantage of the gaming effect that this platform has. I don't see any featherweights. I don't see any drafting power-ups. So it's man for man right
In case
now.
you can't read on the screen there, David's also WhatsApping us saying Brad Gaveris, and then give me wine. So I don't know if it's him that's got a stutter or if it's his cell phone. But yes, we got a guess in there for Martin van Wyk. Craig, John Ogilvie, how much did Martin pay you to put that up?
Yeah, Jamie, I'm actually no offense to Brad Gaveris, but I actually don't want him to win, because if I see how many people just put Brad there, that is like almost 2 cases of wine I'm going to have to give away. So
You're a
Brad,
Manchester United supporter, Miles?
Hey, no, I'm actually not.
Okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
Harbia, yeah. So Adam Epic says Harbia Kruger as well. He's backing me. It looks like today's
Good Lee Cole calling
race
for Ty
favourite.
White.
Yeah, Ty White, Lee Cole.
Tiens van der Bank. Should he not be riding? Why is he chirping in the results when he's probably got some of the best vet legs that are out there?
Yeah, tennis. Yes, I think you need to get involved. Yeah, I think you can show these youngsters how to do it. I think is he the VA champion, or was? I think last year he was
One of them, yeah. I can't remember exactly which group. So I think we do the switchback, and then it kicks.
Jared is saying he wants to throw Negrini there as
Kenny
a dark-
Negrini.
as a dark horse for today's race. What about someone like old Devon Main? I mean, that's also someone who could maybe do an early attack. You never know. So looks like the people watching have
We're
put
onto the last lap up this climb.
Oh, look at all those.
Couple of feathers.
They are now active. They activated their feathers.
Can you use more than one feather during a circuit, or do you collect them, Miles?
Yeah, you kind of collect them as you go
Sure,
along.
look at those powers.
Yo, look
Every
at those
bear that's
power-ups.
gone into orange is literally north of 9 watts a kilo.
Yes, and look at all those power-ups. So this is where the gaming effect comes into play. Everyone using their power-ups becoming
Grazie.
a certain percentage lighter, which means that they are just going a lot faster on the platform.
Yeah, and then you've got about 3Ks from the top of this climb to the finish. So yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to stay away. Can we scroll up, Miles, to see who's
We
gone
can.
over the top there?
I see Matthew Howell there, the guy. Well, he is from Mauritius, but he is very much based in South Africa quite a lot. He studied at Stellenbosch University. And yeah, so he is pretty much a South African, but he is Mauritian.
We're watching Steve. Steve's sitting in
Steven van Heerden.
73rd place, so we don't need to look at him,
No,
Miles.
we don't. He's actually being lapped.
Yeah.
So that's where now it's getting a bit confusing with riders passing the tail enders. But
Yeah, I think we got
Keegan.
Keegan's in that group.
Keegan's in that group. He actually might
Let-
not be a bad bet for
Let's
today.
go on
Jamie.
to Kent. I think pick up either a Kent or pick up a Brad. Actually, let's make this interesting. He's
Yeah, so
my
this-
money's on Brad,
So this is the
he's
race
more likely
favourite.
to move up through the field as we start to approach towards the finish. So it's probably
So-
a good bike to follow.
We're watching Brad Gavaris' screen. He is today's race favourite according to the comments section. So
35 and
your-
some change is the total lap distance for today.
I think we
There's
I
a
think
couple
we're
of
very
young
close.
track boys in there from Carnetic that are also still around, so I wouldn't rule them out.
Jonathan Bauer, very, very familiar with the track. I'm sure he's got a big turn of speed when it comes to cycling on the indoor trainer. But I think coming up is the 1K to go banner. Is that little green banner there,
I
if I'm not
think
mistaken?
It's either that or it could be either the sprint out on the road.
Out on the actual course, which means there is one little more drag before the finish. But we're watching Brad Gavaris' screen. He is today's favourite, according to the views. It's JP Lloyd right up there, the series leader at the moment. You see a Canadian rider in there. Also see no, he's been lapped. He's not part of this group. Yes, I'm actually getting quite nervous for this. This is a long run into the finish.
Can we look at a shot actually on the bike of Brad?
Yeah,
Just to
sure.
have a look at the
Let's scroll through this.
bumping and bashing going on.
Let's see which one. There we go. Is this the right one? So this is his actual helmet view. So this is what, if he was riding on the road, this is what he would be seeing in front of him. You can see he's right up there. He's hanging in tight there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of timing. You're gonna have to. I know when I think when JP Lloyd won his, I think it was 2 races ago in the series, he actually went early. Knew he had to put a little bit of distance between himself and Ryan Gibbons, and it actually worked out for him. So I know his sprint was probably touching a kilometre long, but it'll be interesting to see if anybody's going to follow a similar tactic. Everybody seems to be in one group, and yeah, we've got under a K to go.
Sure, but he is up there. So something that does happen on these virtual racing platforms is that you kind of have to wind it up. There's a little bit of a delay from the actual time that these riders put power to the pedals and the time that it takes for the system to register how hard they're actually going. So you almost have to judge it in a way.
There's somebody having a go.
Who's that? That looks like
I'm not sure if there's Brad
Oh.
obviously following.
Brad, but it looks like they're coming to they are super close right now.
He's
Brad Gavaris pushing 500 watts, heart rate 189, but it looks like is low. Did he put in attack? Looks like he's taken a gap off the front. I'm guessing Brad, if it was in the last kilometer, would have put in a big attack, but there's another rider going for the front. That looks like that's
that is Brad.
HB Kruger that just put in a big attack, and Brad trying to close the gap now towards the finish. There's the line. Jamie, we can see the line just ahead. This is Brad Gavaris getting onto Hobbier's wheel. He's going to pushing 1,000 watts, 194, and I think Brad's going to take the win. This is Brad's screen we're looking at, and there we go. Brad Gavaris takes
Brad
the win.
Gavaris followed by
Hey.
Jonathan Bauer and two Carnetic boys, looks like, in second and third.
Well done to the guys that called it in the comment section. I can see there's just Brad everywhere. I do owe you a bottle of wine, so please.
You do, I think, just
Send me
rolling
a
back,
message.
I did call it first before
Ah.
everybody got trigger
Ah.
happy on. So I think
Okay, Jamie, I owe you some
I
wine as well.
get some wine this week.
Okay.
Well done to
Fair
some
enough.
youngsters there, the two Carnetic boys. I think they are still both juniors, but we'll get some confirmation from anybody on the live feed if you do know. Can we
just
scroll
gonna-
back to the?
So we're going to head over to the BCAT.
Brilliant.
They should be coming into
Yeah.
the
Here
final.
we go.
This is
They-
Ruan Nordia's screen.
They're coming into that
little green-
that sprint point out on the route, and then they'll start winding it up towards the finish.
Well done to Brad Gavaris taking event number 5 in the series. That was
Probably
quite
kicking
a-
himself for having not paid his 200 grand in the first race of this series.
Losing out on some points.
Some points that were lost out there. But yeah, suited a rider like Brad, and yeah, being the South African Criterium champion. You can see why timing that sprint to perfection.
So this is the B group we're looking at right now. Ruan Odia currently the series leader. I'm sure he's going to want to keep that that kind of spot going into next week. So we're going to see him now trying to sprint it out. Is Ruan a sprinter? Not actually sure.
I think he's just a powerful rider. So yeah, you're probably a similar rider to JP. We're not a natural sprinter, but once he starts to wind it up, almost like a Jaco Ventus type rider, where the brute power's there, and you can hold it for a long time. What else we got in there? I see we're coming up on probably just over a kilometre to go. Stephen Home also there from Albion Wheelers. I think he's in the first 3 in the B category in the Sport SA Talent Road Series. See some guy here riding a disc wheel. That's different.
A disc wheel, is he part of the series? Is
I
that
don't
allowed?
think so. I think these guys... but in saying that, it was one of the things that you could fiddle with. There's a guy just here in the grey kit with the pink stripes down, also rocking his a disc wheel. So yeah, I think it's more for aesthetics, but keeps us entertained.
We're going to get Kent Main on the line now on the Zoom call. Once the ladies have come in, we are going to get Kent on the line, and he's going to give us a run through of how today's race was. Right up there, being up front. He did finish in the front group, but most commonly known as a climber. I mean, he's not really known as a sprinter, so he would have just got the best placing he could. But yes, the B Cats coming into the finish. And who's that? That's kind of taking it. This is Ruan Odia screen, so he's a little bit far down on today's race. But I see there Nick Dickens right up there. Dylan Geary was also in there. Finished starting a little bit later today. Wasn't part of the A group. But Ruan Odia finishing in the top 10. We're not quite sure who took it there. Turning around.
We'll wait for the official results. We can go down to the climb for the girls. Feed in from out in the road is Kelsey's actually on the climb, and she had about a minute 20-second lead starting the climb.
There we go. So that's Kelsey out front on her own.
So she's crested the climb. It's now the flat run into
the finish.
Yeah, a little bit of a false flat.
We've come to know that that little green, that little green. It must be 1K to go. It feels like it is sort of.
It's close to 1K to go.
Yeah, but it is actually the sprint on the lap. So I think that's how the guys get their power ups, Jamie. Is that they go through this.
I think you earn them out on the course. Obviously,
correct.
Picking them up on this banner.
If we look at the sprint on the left hand side, we see Ryan Terry actually taking the sprint competition today. So Ryan Terry, that's one of your boys, Jamie.
Yeah, by the looks of things, that he got dressed up for that. I didn't see how tight the guys were at the end, but his name was in that group for most of that race. Arbia as well, also getting some quite close to the sprint points. And Devon and Kent bringing up 14 and 15. Yeah, so Kelsey last in on the road was a minute and a half, so a massive gap. I don't feel too bad now, Miles having missed her win last week.
She's so quick, you can't even keep up with her.
She literally lines up. It looked like she did one lap just to test everybody around her, and then decided to disappear on her own up the road.
If you look on the right-hand side there, you can see she's actually about to catch she's not about to catch them, but she's 1 minute behind another lady. So that means she has almost lapped another lady, or the C batch is only ladies. So she's almost lapped this lady, this German rider. So
sure, it's a proper individual time trial.
That means she's almost 8 kilometers ahead of that German rider. But this is her coming into the finish now. She's definitely won today's race, unless her internet just stops.
I think the leaderboard was quite tight at the top as well. Miles. So I think this is going to bump
might
her
be
up
all.
as well as stretch her legs.
Going into today's race, Lauren Coleman was still leading the series.
Yeah, she was on 72 points, followed by Joe van der Winkel on 61, and Kelsey was down on 50. So yeah, she's definitely gonna, if not jump to the top of the leaderboard, be hell of a close.
Jeez, how far? If we just go down,
Catherine was down in.
You know, she's definitely won today's race. We can go up there just now. These are some of the B riders. Don't see Catherine down the list here, but we'll search her now. Let's just head up to Kelsey there and watch her cross the finish line. Today she is the winner in the ladies'
tapping
cap.
off, letting the boys.
Not even competing for the sprint there. She's raising her
back
arms
to make
back
sure she can get maximum exposure for her sponsors. True professional in the making. Well done, Kelsey.
Maybe one day we'll see her go under the real UCI World Champs banner.
Let's hope so.
So there's your ladies winner, Kelsey van Schoor. She has actually won a few of these before, but there's Catherine Colleen. She's based down in Cape Town, and it looks like she's going to come in second place in today's race. Second South African rider to cross the line. She is about 25 seconds away from crossing the finish line.
Catherine, if you didn't know, is the better half of Javier Kruger. So, yeah, I wonder if they have an internal household bet to see who makes dinner after an effort like this.
Do you think they're holding hands while they're on the trainer?
I don't think so, no.
No, you don't think so? You think they're going max effort?
I think Javier might have his pom-poms out and be cheering, but I don't think they're holding hands.
So that's Catherine. She's coming across the line very shortly. You can see the banner just ahead of her, and she's our second place lady coming across the line. Al Cannon, kills me inside to not know her first name. I'm sure we need to prep that for next week, because it looks like she's coming in third place today.
Here we go. Well done, Catherine.
Well done, Catherine, crossing the line. Should we head over to a Zoom call with Kent?
Yeah, let's go and find out from somebody who was in the mix how it went.
How today's ride was. Hopefully he's connecting. Kent is connecting. Kent, can you hear me? No, he can't hear me. Kent, how's it?
How's it, Miles? How are you?
Lekker and you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Sorry.
How was today's ride?
Yeah, that was quite a cool route. Very hard on the little snapper each lap, but other than that, it was easy. So just like a big normalized effort today compared to previous weeks where it's more of a higher average power. So very tough.
So today was a recovery ride for next week's one.
So yeah, we haven't decided the routes on next week just yet, but definitely wasn't a recovery ride. I think it just showed it suited a different ride, a very punchy rider with a good sprint. As you can see, the national crit champion won today, Brad Harris, and then two of the young guys from Kinetic, second and third. So very punchy riders. So it's cool. The weeks are showing different riders coming to the top.
Any idea of what next week's route's going to look like? Have you thought about it?
I've given it some thoughts. Sort of haven't decided 100%, but definitely will be an exciting route and maybe something even different, something we haven't done just yet. So we'll keep it exciting.
Maybe a race up Alpe de Zwift. How does that sound? That might suit you actually.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I'll have a problem with that, but I think I'll get a few complaints from quite a few of the other guys. But yeah, no, I don't know if we'll do that just yet, but yeah, definitely something interesting next week.
Cool. Thanks, Kent. Well done. We'll chat soon.
Cheers. Thanks, Miles. Cheers, eh?
And there we have it. Kent Main also helping out with the organizing of the race. He kind of, if you like the route or don't like the route, he's the guy.
He's the man to moan it. Yeah.
He's the guy to WhatsApp.
But he's 100% correct. It's nice to see there's a blend every week, which will make the leaderboard nice and competitive. But every week it's appealing to a different type of rider. So, I mean, both the youngsters from the Western Cape as well as Brad, probably all closer to being track riders than road riders. So definitely a course that suited a shorter, stronger guy. So well done to Brad on the win. Well done that this time you actually get the points.
So before we sign off, Jamie, just watching a rider here, just some useless information for everyone watching. That little screen in front of the rider means he's in workout mode. So he's doing a structured workout. He's not part of any race. It's just...
Also looks like he's got flat tires.
He's sinking into the road.
Yeah, he's reading his workout and thinking, wow, my legs are sore. That's because your wheels are flat, buddy.
He's in time trial mode.
But yeah, thanks to everybody for tuning in. It's gone quite quickly. Race 5 already over with. Trying a couple of different things this week by having a feed live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. And yeah, from that we'll be able to determine the stats of which media is a bigger preference, and from there start making decisions on how to grow the series for race 5 onwards.
Yeah, so like Jamie is saying, we're trying to grow it, make it better, and trying different things, new things. So at the start of each week, we're trying to deal with new things that we've had to kind of set up. So at the start it can be a bit rusty at times, but yeah, thank you for tuning in today. That was event number 5 in the virtual racing series on the Innsbruck course, which was the 2018 UCI World Champs lap. So yeah, thank you to our sponsors. The series obviously is still presented by Trade Route Active, Karam Beef and Duelhof Wines. Go on to the duelhof.com to get your discounted wine by using the promo code, which is ProTouch, up to 50% discount. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks,
have a good evening.
Thanks, Azzy,
we'll
for keeping us in tune on the ladies out on the road.
Oh yeah, Azzy, thank you.
The Facebook messages, guys, if you've got any ideas, things that we possibly could improve on, some changes that you'd like to see, get in touch with Sport SA Talent on Facebook and let them know. I mean, the series is built around the riders, but it's equally important for the people at home that are supporting their riders that they enjoy the experience. I can tell you at north of 8 watts a kilo, the rider on the bike couldn't care less what me and Miles sound like. So it's important that we get the feedback from you guys, and yeah, we'll make the changes to make the experience a little bit better. So thank you for tuning in, and well done to all the relevant winners in all 3 of our categories.
Before signing off, guys, this is building funds for the for the Phil Liggett Foundation, which helps cyclists and athletes be able to compete internationally. So please support that foundation as much as possible. It helps these youngsters like Kelsey van Schoor, who's doing an amazing job. I mean, she won today's race, and someone like that could definitely benefit from that fund in the foundation. So get your donations in. It's for a bigger cause. And yeah, we'll see you next week, Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Cheers.
Ciao for now.